وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. That indeed we sent down the Quran, that which is healing and mercy for those believers, for the believers. So again, it's very important to have the connection with the Quran, have the Quran in our hearts. It is mentioned once that the Prophet ﷺ, he asked one of the companions, Ubay ibn Ka'b radiyallahu anhu, what is the greatest ayah in the Quran? What is the greatest ayah in the Quran? If I was to ask you what is the greatest ayah in the Quran, I think you would struggle. I think I would struggle. Many of us would struggle, because the entire Quran, every verse in the Quran is unique. It's great, very powerful. So Ubay ibn Ka'b, he mentions that Allah and his Rasul, they know best. And the Prophet ﷺ said, no, go ahead, tell me, what is the greatest verse in the Quran? And Ubay ibn Ka'b, he starts reciting Ayatul Kursi. Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum la ta'khudhuhu sinatun wa la nawm lahu ma fi as-samawati wa ma fi al-ard, until the end. And it is mentioned that فَضَرَبَ فِي صَدْرِي, that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he hits the chest of Ubay ibn Ka'b out of happiness, and he says, Wallahi, I swear by Allah, لِيَهْنِكَ الْعِلْمُ أَبَا الْمُنذِرِ, today you can rejoice over this. You know, this answer that you have given me, لِيَهْنِكَ الْعِلْمُ أَبَا الْمُنذِرِ, go and rejoice over this, go and celebrate this. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's celebrating the answer of Ubay ibn Ka'b, that yes, Ayatul Kursi is the most powerful verse in the Quran. Why? Because it describes Allah in the most perfect and most complete way, using all of the attributes and qualities and adjectives of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which are unique to Allah. And this is why the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam would pray Ayatul Kursi after every salah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would pray Ayatul Kursi at night, in the morning, during the evenings. For the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was a protection which he used to then blow over his hands and rub his body, just like the Mu'awwidhatayn. He prayed Mu'awwidhatayn as well, as a source of protection from every form of evil. And again, this is a connection that we need to have with the Quran. It's not simply a book that we read. We need to have that yaqeen in the Quran, that connection with the Quran, that the Quran is a solution to my problems. And if I have the Quran, if I can memorize the Quran in my heart, I don't need anything else. So the Quran is a source of healing for us, and it's also a source of guidance for us as well, which is what Allah mentions right at the beginning of the Quran. Alif Lam Mim, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. So when you have the Quran as your guide, you don't need anything else. When you have the Quran as your cure, as your healing to your problems, you don't need anything else in your lives. So how can we improve our relationship with the Quran, especially with the month of Ramadan coming? We can do a number of things. I'll briefly mention 5 things. Number 1 is, whenever you recite the Quran, or before you recite the Quran, make that intention. Have the correct intention. Why are you praying the Quran? Allah is talking to you through the Quran. So you need to understand the purpose of reading the Quran, have the correct intention. Number 2 is, prepare yourself to recite the Quran. Know what this is. This is the Quran. هذا كلام ربي. This is the kalam of my Rabb. So prepare yourselves and give it adab and give it respect. Sit with wudu, make wudu, sit down in a respectful position and recite the Quran fully devoted. And number 3 is to recite the Quran regularly, even if it's 5 minutes a day, 5 lines a day, 5 verses a day. It's better that you read every single day. The Prophet ﷺ said, فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الْعَمَلِ أَدْوَمُهُ وَإِنْ قَلَّ. The best actions with Allah are those which are done adwamuhu, regularly, وَإِنْ قَلَّ, even if they are small in quantity. So what you don't want to do is read, like, let's say 1 or 2 juz on Monday, and then for the rest of the week you don't touch the Quran again, or you don't recite anything from the Quran. No, recite the Quran every single day. Step number 4 is not only read it, but to ponder over the verses, the meanings, try to understand the Quran, practice the Quran, and live the Quran and convey to others. And number 5 is always make dua at the end of your recitation. Raise your hands, make dua to Allah. Allah, everything that I've recited from the Quran, Allah guide me through this. Allah give me barakah through this. Allah, make me, give me the istiqamah, give me the ability to live by the Quran, just like the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As mentioned, kana khuluquhu al-Quran. The khuluq, the mannerisms, the akhlaq, the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the Quran. So it's very important that we take these 5 steps, especially with the month of Ramadan coming. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروا إنه الغفور الرحيم.